Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're looking at a situation that is absolutely commanding the world's focus right now, the crisis in the Middle East. It's a highly dynamic, rapidly evolving situation, and it really demands a measured, careful look. The ripple effects we're seeing, they are truly global, touching almost every corner of our interconnected systems. So we're going to use the latest reports to clearly map out exactly what's happening, unpack the underlying machinery of these events, and understand how the international community is reacting.
Let's start with a very stark reality. A major crisis in the Middle East is attracting global attention. Millions of people, geopolitical analysts, and governments worldwide are literally locked onto the developments in this region. The sheer scale of this situation has instantly raised immense concerns about regional stability, the intricacies of international relations, and for sure, the profound potential impact on the global economy. When a central geopolitical hub like this experiences pressure, the shockwaves travel outward almost instantly.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's how we're breaking it down today. First, the escalating regional crisis. Second, global diplomatic reactions. Third, economic and market impacts. And finally, looking ahead.
But before we get into all those vast, far-reaching global impacts, we have to start right at the center. What exactly is happening? It's the most urgent question everyone is asking right now as they seek accurate information amid some really rapidly changing events. To understand the global response, we've got to look at the immediate, unvarnished reality at the epicenter.
Section 1. The escalating regional crisis and growing security concerns.
Well, tensions have increased significantly in recent days. Because of this rapid escalation, several countries are monitoring the situation incredibly closely. You know that continuous global news coverage you're seeing across all the channels? It isn't just about the spectacle. It actually reflects a deep, urgent need for accurate information. In a crisis of this magnitude, the speed of information directly impacts market panic and public anxiety. The events on the ground are changing rapidly, and that rapid change creates a really dense fog of uncertainty for global analysts and policymakers trying to plot their next move.
Right now, there's a unified message coming from the top. International organizations are expressing deep concern and urging all sides to, and I quote, avoid actions that could worsen the crisis. The initial and primary concern here is entirely focused on containment. World leaders are calling for extreme caution because diplomatic containment in a volatile region requires incredibly precise, delicate maneuvering. The goal right now is simply to freeze the escalation at the local level. It's really about preventing a localized fire from jumping the fire breaks and spiraling into an unmanageable global conflagration.
Section 2. Global diplomatic reactions and global responses.
So how is the world reacting? We're actually seeing a rapid two-step escalation of government action around the world, which represents the immediate mechanics of international relations in a crisis. Step 1, holding emergency discussions. Governments aren't just passively watching, they're actively convening at the highest possible levels for immediate crisis management. Then we move into Step 2, reviewing regional policies. Now this is a much heavier lift. A regional policy review is a massive bureaucratic undertaking. It involves defense departments, economic advisors, and intelligence agencies, all reassessing their long-term strategic alignments based on the fallout from those emergency talks.
But why the sudden, sweeping policy reviews? Well, it comes down to a delicate balance: regional stability versus the global economy and international trade. Experts know these concepts are completely intertwined. Maintaining stability isn't just important for the countries directly involved, it's absolutely vital for the frictionless operation of global markets and the seamless flow of international trade. A localized disruption in stability almost guarantees a massive bottleneck in the global economy, which directly affects nations thousands of miles away.
Because the stakes are so phenomenally high, diplomatic efforts are heavily underway right now. Several nations are actively stepping in to encourage dialogue and push for peaceful solutions. These negotiations involve really complex back-channel discussions, leveraging economic aid, historical alliances, and strategic partnerships just to bring parties to the table. The leaders involved deeply understand that extreme caution and proactive diplomacy are the absolute primary tools required right now to bridge this growing gap.
Section 3. Economic and market impacts and market consequences.
So the crucial point is, how does this hit the global system? Analysts are specifically watching three massive global targets. First up, energy markets. The region is a vital hub for global energy, meaning any instability directly threatens delicate supply chains, which instantly drives up fuel pricing globally. Second, transportation routes. Crucial global shipping lanes pass right through this area. When those get disrupted, ships are forced into massive detours.
That creates a severe bottleneck that spikes shipping costs and, eventually, consumer prices everywhere. And third, international business activity. Multinational corporations heavily rely on predictability. When that's shattered, investments pause and global business activity just stalls out. This is exactly why this matters to you. These three pillars dictate the cost of goods at your local store, the availability of daily resources, and the overall health of the global economy.
Because of those three foundational pillars, investors and businesses are paying incredibly close attention to new developments. There is a staggering amount of economic security on the line worldwide right now. While financial analysts note that it's remarkably difficult to predict exactly what will happen next, experts universally agree on one undeniable reality. The coming days are absolutely critical. The decisions made in the next few hours and days will heavily dictate the overall economic direction of this crisis for months or perhaps even years to come.
Finally, Section 4, looking ahead and what comes next.
Many people hope for peaceful solutions and constructive dialogue. As the entire world watches closely, it is so vitally important to bring this narrative back down to a human level. That quote perfectly embodies the ultimate goal of the global response we've outlined today. Beyond the volatile economic markets, the shifting trade routes, and the highly complex policy reviews, the core underlying objective of the international community right now is finding a sustainable path to peace that protects human life and restores stability.
But the reality remains, the situation is intensely dynamic. What new developments will emerge next? Events on the ground could shift at any moment, potentially altering the diplomatic and economic landscape we've just discussed in an absolute instant. The global ripple effect is already in motion, and its final reach, well, it's still unknown. We're going to continue to follow this story closely and provide clear, structured updates as more critical information becomes available. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to follow us for more international news and analysis.